Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and we are answering. We're actually not answering questions today. So I lied. I started the video with a lie. Questionable behavior. We are talking about it's an interesting situation with Twilio. Twilio is kind of an embattled company. I believe it's a tech company. Over the course of the past year, their stock share price has lost, I think, 78% of its value. And they're engaging in a layoff of about 11% of their workforce. And this is a significant number of people. I think we're talking to close to 1,000 people, a little bit less than 1,000 people, I believe, who work at Twilio, which is interesting in and of itself because that, you hate to see that. That's a lot of people to lose their jobs all at once. But what makes it more interesting and what gets it on our radar here on this channel is that Twilio CEO announced that the 11% layoff will be an anti-racist focused layoff. Now, the Twilio CEO, Jeff Lawson, does not actually say what that means. At least doesn't fully explain what that means, right? And let me be clear. Before we get into this video, I believe diversity and representation in the workplace are incredibly important. They have tremendous value. But, I have done a couple of videos before kind of underscoring that when you terminate an employee and race or any other protected class is a factor, that is generally going to run afoul of the federal laws and also the state and local laws of many other jurisdictions, right? Because what do we have, when you look at that? You have a termination motivated in part by membership in a protected class. Well, we just applied the exact elements, the exact definition of a discrimination case to what's being done here, and it met all the elements. So then we can step away and be fairly confident that we're dealing with a discrimination case, right? And I'll note, so these anti-racist focused layoff, it did not specify. It did not specify if there's a point system. Do you get extra points for membership in a protected class? Point systems have not done well in the case law, litigated over the past half century. They just generally not a great way to handle things in the eyes of the courts of most jurisdictions. Then, I was talking to an erudite employment attorney who left the field. Well, didn't leave the field. Who went to work at a Institute of Higher Learning, and kind of, got out of this game, the plaintiff's employment game, which is, it's a tough business. I'll say that, right? And he was, I call him erudite. He had a depth of knowledge. He's a deep thinker of the field, still is. And I was talking to him about it. And, his take was, well, they're going to have to offer potentially a really, really thick severance package here to get folks not to sue them. Because every one of these people, this is 11% of the company, that's being terminated, who can give voice to the belief that they were selected or added to this layoff because they're not a member of a protected class, they may, all those people may have discrimination claims of their own now, right? So how do you keep them from bringing claims? And he was telling me that, I think it was, let me get the package here. The package was light. The package was not amazing. I think we're looking at, I lost it. Oh, those laid off are going to get at least 12 weeks of pay and an additional week per year of service at the company. They're also going to receive the full value of Twilio's next stock vest. Now, kind of as we noted, Twilio's next stock vest is not going to be an exciting event, right? They've lost about 78% of the value of their stock vest over the course of the past 12 months. That could turn around, but it's fall of 2022 and the stock market is engaged in a pre-recession rundown, many people feel. So that stock vest is not going to be a significant part of their package, potentially. At least not as significant as it could have been. So what you're looking at is 12 weeks plus a week per year of service. So, I mean, listen, 20 weeks, somebody's been there 8 years. That's not that exciting. You're giving up all of your claims for 20 weeks. On the bright side, you don't have to sue. On the downside, I'm not excited by 20 weeks. And almost everybody is going to have less than 20 weeks, right? Almost everybody's going to have closer to 12 weeks than 20 weeks. So, you know, if you're at 12 weeks and you're getting laid off and you have your vest, so maybe it's the equivalent of, you know, who knows, 14 weeks? 14 weeks to give up all your claims after your CEO comes out and gives very public voice to the idea that perhaps you were selected into this termination because you don't have as many protected class points as someone else. I think a lot of these people are not going to take that package, and I think a lot of these people are going to sue. So coming from an angle of someone who believes in diversity, believes in promoting diversity in the workplace, I gotta tell you, this isn't how you do it. Like, you don't release a statement to the press saying, yeah, so we're gonna lay off people in an undefined anti-racist way. Let me just be clear. If the anti-racist layoff, which was not defined in these statements to the media, if it's that we think that we have a large number of employees who are racist and we have complaints against them and we're going to sue them and not sue them, terminate them, that sounds great to me. That sounds like a really good idea. Like, okay, these people have complaints against them, so you're letting them go. You've opted them into a layoff because they've had complaints made against them for racism in the workplace. I'm there for it. Sign me up. That sounds amazing. But if an anti-racist layoff actually means that there's a point system for protected classes, or that protected classes are used as a tiebreaker, right? If you have two employees and you can't figure out which one is going to be opted in the layoff, but one has a protected class and one doesn't, that's not going to get past the federal laws. It's not going to work. You can't. You're asking for litigation, right? Because the minute that you say, oh, well, this person over here is African American and this person's a whitey, so we're going to fire the whitey, you've just given the white, and I feel like I'm white enough that I can call them whiteys. I can't use other terms, apparently, for white people because I think YouTube will censor me. Pinkies. We'll call them pinkies because we're so white, we're pink, right? When you then choose to fire the person because they're a pinky, right? You've given them a protected class. You've engaged in discrimination at that point, and you've now made Caucasian people a protected class because there's negative workplace action motivated by their membership in that protected class. So, Jeff Lawson, you're dumb. Like, why? Why would you make this desperate attention grab? Like, oh, sure, I did lead the company into a horrible time, and yeah, we're not doing well, but it's not all bad. The layoffs are going to be anti-racist.
With the American Airlines Advantage program,
This thing just decided to start playing ads. It was a weird bait and switch. Like, it was a weird way to smooth the transition from I did destroy this company, and now like 1,000 people are going to lose their jobs. That's really bad. But there was this attempt to be like, but it's not all bad because it's going to be an anti-racist layoff. Sometimes you read these statements from these CEOs and you say to yourself, I don't actually know what the skill set of a CEO should be to succeed, because oftentimes these CEOs are just engaged in complete ignorance. Like, it's just like they don't get the basics. And they have all the advisors. And I presume their advisors probably said, hey, like the employment attorneys intern at Twilio probably went to the board and were like, this is dumb. Yeah, don't say that. And Jeff Lawson, I guess, felt like he was under pressure because he destroyed a multi-million-dollar company and decided to go with it anyways. I don't know. I wasn't there. I just don't understand why you'd open yourself up to this kind of litigation at all. Anyways, I'm really just ranting here. I'm not helping anyone, and I should go make a video helping someone immediately. Take care, everybody. Like and subscribe.